Welcome everybody this afternoon. This is Megan Testani, the Director of Marketing for Red Level. We're here to welcome you to our Work From Home Readiness Webinar. Thank you for taking your time out of today in order to join us. I have a couple of housekeeping notes. Everybody that's entering, it will be on mute. If you have any questions, we would love for you to ask them through the Q&A panel. We will hold most questions until the end, but if it is a very pertinent question, we will make sure to insert it into the content as we go through the webinar. Also, if for whatever reason we're not able to get to your question live here on the webinar, we will be sure to follow up with you directly after the webinar has concluded. And now I would like to introduce our friends over at the Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce. Please help me welcome Jason Blanks to our webinar.
Hi, Megan. Thank you very much for having us today. And everyone, I just thank you just for joining us. We're excited to have you here. The Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce is committed to supporting our members and community while navigating change through this COVID concern. What are some of the benefits of the Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce? The business owners and operators can participate in networking groups, which gives the owners and operators an opportunity to meet through the chamber and will be an immediate connection that can open doors to other companies to help grow your business. We also offer resource development. Some of the programs that you face in business are likely shared by your fellow men and women in business, in the business community, and we offer in-house business assessments and referrals to experts like Red Level to help you save money or upscale your production. We offer web-based training, whether it is web-based lunch and learns or online seminars on improving your company's sales. The Chamber will host programs weekly to help you increase your skills in every aspect of your business. Your involvement would be customers and business owners and operators who want to do business with someone who is vested in their community. And we also offer marketing assessments. One of the best ways to showcase your business with the social media spotlight of audiences with our 3,000 contacts across multiple platforms, digital media audits, and dedicated e-blasts to 3,800 email subscribers, as well as additional marketing opportunities. Please feel free to connect with us. To learn more about our partnerships, initiatives, and upcoming events, feel free to visit at the link posted below, which is southfieldchamber.com/events. And I would like to hand this off to Ed. And Ed, I really would like to say thank you. And I hope everyone enjoys this webinar. So thank you again, Red Level. You guys are awesome.
Ed, if you could just unmute, there you go.
Thanks, Jason, and thanks to the Southfield Chamber. Red Level is a member of the Chamber, and I got to tell you, the events are great. I recently did it's called the 101, and where they really talk about all the programs in detail. And if you're a member or if you're interested in joining, I would highly recommend that. But again, thanks for coming to our event today. We know that everyone is not only busy, but dealing with a lot of things during this time. And it's definitely a topic that we were hoping to get out there as soon as possible. Here's a little information about me with Red Level, but let's really get to the meat of it. You see me here today but this is the team that's connected to me. I'm not in the room alone. I'm here with a lot of people that are at any time is connection, and we're going to talk about that as we go through some of the software and some of the work from home items. And yes, we're the governor's announcement yesterday. A lot of people were asking, is Red Level open, or are we going to get support? How are we going to work from home? Well, yes, we're open. I'm actually in the office today, but there's like 2 other people here because everyone else is working from home. This might be a common, if you look around your house, if you're working from home, this might be a common occurrence, right? Everyone's working from home, and a lot of them have little ones there. I'm not going to cover that today, not my expertise, but it's definitely the reality is it's a difference of how we're working right now. So sit back, and if you have a cup of coffee, a glass of water, and we're going to go through a lot of things here. One of the things that I definitely want to ensure you're not alone. You're never alone. As I said, we're connected. But listen up, because there's going to be a little quiz at the end of this. You might want to take a few notes, but I'm going to go through a little bit of history. Yeah, I ended up in the computer field a couple of decades ago, but before that, who knew I wanted to be an archaeologist? So we're going to talk about a little history, but it's computer history and the work from home evolution. If you look at this here, for many years, people worked in offices or cube farms, and you can see, you know, kind of isolated. I work with a lot of small businesses. This is pretty typical. But then you see larger businesses that, okay, there's a lot of people, and whether they have cube farms or they have the bullpens or that latest thing. How did they share things? Well, we were adding in networking, adding in servers, adding in applications that everyone needed. And you can see here we were going through and we were connected. And that's, you know, a basic business. Most people were operating this way and have for many years. Then the question came up, well, what if I want to work from home? You have that same setup at home. Everyone has internet. Well, there's a lot of evolution that came. There was what they call private clouds, where you were connecting into your business's internet or intranet, and you were connecting in, and possibly you were grabbing applications. But like everything else that's evolved, and technology doesn't slow down, it's very quick. Like I said, the time that I've been in here, it's amazing how fast it moves. And so a big part of that is now you have public clouds. And this isn't, okay, we're moving everything over there. We're moving little applications, and we're going to talk in detail about that. Let's go back to the core though. Whether this is symbolizing a business or a data center, you really have data and applications hosted somewhere. And this is how most businesses have operated for many, many years. Computers to get into it, phones that are tying in. Now we have soft phones, we have, most people know voice over IP. All these are components, are printing, the network, the servers, and then, as most of you, I'm working on one of these right now, laptops, but not just one laptop. Laptops came everywhere. And what we don't show on this slide is also, it's not just laptops, it's tablets, it's phones. And so that's really created the demand for people not only to work mobile inside of their organizations, but to really work anywhere. That, you know, they want to go to their clients, they want to work from home. So this has been what we've been working on in the industry for many years. The internet connections have greatly increased. You have local providers, fiber to homes, to businesses. So it's a much better experience than those that have been around a while that remember, you know, the dial-up modem times, and it was really not possible to get a whole lot of work done. You were stuck with the old days where you were taking that briefcase or that bag full of paperwork back home you were working on it, then you would take it back to work. That's not really working from home, not like it is today. But then we had to decide, okay, how do we protect all of this? Well, you know, firewalls at the wherever that data lives, again, whether that's the data center or at one or multiple locations of your business. Then you had access to your files, your applications, and all the people that were there too, right? Whether you're on the other side of the office, or you were on a different floor, or you were in a different state, this was all connected. And then a lot of people have talked about what you have all this data. There's been a lot of business intelligence and statistics pulling from that. And again, this was pretty normal. This was what was expected for any business to have. It's been the norm for more than 10, well, really 20 years. So let's go to the home a little bit. So when you were working from home, go back to 1984, some of you might remember this. I'm not going to claim that, but this is, you can see all those different components that we talked about, you know, printing, fax machines, cameras. You had something separate for each one of those. And then jump forward 20 years. Look at the reduction. We were able to take that and put that into one device or multiple devices. Still had the phone, still had the Rolodex, you know, but then you jump forward another 10 years and now it's significantly different, right? And you notice the mobile phone. Not only the phone, but really going away from just applications, which required a different type of connection, to apps, which everyone is used to now. There's an app for everything. You can have an app to hang a picture on the wall. There's an app for any business. And that's really what people have gotten used to is a one-touch, whether it's getting into your email or it's going to a chamber event, or whether it's pulling up a HR application. It's really a single icon that you're pushing on your phone or on your computer. So that leads us into the world of software as a service. We live in a subscription world now. Everything has been kind of put into subscriptions, whether it's food delivery, you know, prepackaged food to your house, or now they do toothbrushes and razors and socks and everything else. Guess what? IT's been leading that subscription for a long time with the addition of apps, so that people could no longer have to run that locally on their app, their laptop, inside of their server farms, inside of their data center. Now they're going to the actual company, whether it's a accounting firm or a accounting financial application, HR. A lot of those were moved out. So really every phase of your operation, chunks of it have been moved out. So files, emails, everyone has been using emails for years and years. It's just second nature. We assume that you're going to have an email. The reporting and business intelligence, that's been moved out as well. I think for every company, whether you're running QuickBooks or you're running an ERP, that's depending on your industry, you have to have those financials, you have to have that CRM information, and we want it readily available. And now people have had that and gotten used to it, but a lot comes with that. Here's some of the leading SaaS brands and applications. You probably recognize many of these because they're in the industry. A few that I'd like to point out: Salesforce, Microsoft. We have one in here called for Teams, which we're going to talk about a little bit more. But as you can see, software as a service, whether people use that name or not, it's been around for quite a while. It's something everyone probably now looks at this and go, yeah, I use that. So now we say, okay, how do we get that out to the homes? How do we get that out to remote workers, but also making sure that data is secure? So part of that is software as a service. Those same icons we talked about, the files, the analytics, they're all available, but we have to protect it and get it out to many. This is what it looked like pre-COVID. This is not new. People have been doing this. Red Level has been working like this for many years. Whenever there's a snowstorm, people have their equipment at home and they have the option. We're providing them notifications to make sure they're safe and they can stay home, whether they need to stay home because the roads aren't good or because their children are at home or something else. So this was pretty common. You can see then you also have your mobile workers, people that were, you know, traveling from site to site and they were using laptops and connecting. Main thing is you keep hearing me saying people. All this stuff requires people. We're still connected. Whether you're working from home or you're on the road, you still have to keep in touch with those that you're working with, the clients, your vendors, and so the people have to stay connected. And that's one of the big things that everyone is running into right now. With a rush of getting so many people to work remotely in the last few weeks, there's a big concern about how do we stay connected? How do we continue our business? How do we keep our teams, you know, collaborating and making sure they know what's going on with everything and sharing news about not only the business, but everyone else. So one of those applications that is really key to this is Microsoft Teams. And here's an example. Some of you may have known Teams as its previous name or as its predecessor, which was Skype. And Microsoft bought Skype and made Skype for Business several years ago. November of last year, they retired Skype and Teams came in. Well, Teams is a collaboration tool, is a video a webinar, it's conferencing, it's really a suite of software. And so as of November, there was over 20 million active subscribers to Skype. Now, one of their leading competitors to this only had 12 million. And, you know, a lot of people know that name, but then we see this climbed. Every month it went up, and you see as of March 11th, it was 32 million. Even that is a huge increase over that short amount of time. Why are people doing it? Well, we'll talk about Teams a little bit more, but what I was staggered about is with everything going on with COVID, Microsoft made announcements and being a Microsoft partner, Red Level received calls after calls. Over 12 million people in 1 week. That's what it increased. That's a 40% increase. So that's telling you, you know, work from home just went from a gradual incline to a steep, you know, mountain. And Teams is one of the main tools that's being used to allow companies and people to keep talking, keep business running during this tough time. So you can see 44 million active users. And this was a few days ago, so it's probably climbed since then. So here's some features of Teams. You can meet from anywhere. We're doing a team, this webinar is using Teams. All of you are connecting with Teams. We're probably, I can't see exactly where everyone's at, but when we were seeing people queue up in the lobby, you could tell they were coming from different places. So you can have chats, you can have calls, you can collaborate. I've been on with collaboration every day with our team, whether with clients, to make sure things are progressing and you can share documents. Bring your team to work. You can see it's a great tool. So then how are you getting this? Well, then you have infrastructure as a service. So we talked about software as a service, everything as a service. You have to get to some of these items that may not be on your laptop, especially in the rush, right? We had a lot of people saying, well, you know, we're not having anyone coming in. We don't want to spread this. We want to make sure. but they don't have the software on their home computers. They don't have the software even on their laptops because they were using it centrally. So there's different ways to get into an infrastructure as a service where instead of making sure it's on every machine, you put it in a central location, similar to software as a service, but it's more than that. It's multiple applications. It's multiple data sets that are within that environment. So basically you're connecting in and everything's provided for you. A private cloud is indicating that it's either a company internal to the company and you're hosting that, or it's an organization that's hosting it for company. Red Level has done that for many years. And there's others that do that as well. And you're coming in and everything is provided for you. So you can connect from your laptop, whether it's your company laptop or your personal laptop. You can connect from tablets. You can even connect from phones. I have to get my glasses for that because it's a little hard to see all those things, but you can still do it. Public cloud is where we're going, and it's not a private company or a private individual that's doing it, a one-for-one. This is organizations like Microsoft, like AWS, like Google, that are hosting these entire environments. People have heard of Azure, I'm sure they've heard of AWS. We've had organizations for many, many years that haven't had a server down the hallway, right? It's been in a Microsoft cloud or an Azure cloud. And again, everything's out there. So public versus private, it just means when you're talking about this could be across the nation, this could be international, as opposed to maybe one or two locations. Remote desktop. So many people are familiar with remote desktop. They've used it over the years. It's been around for a very long time. This is really what's getting you into IaaS. It's presenting that desktop to you. The big difference is this is a server-based environment. So it's not quite the look and feel that you have on your Windows 10 desktop or your tablet, but it's a one-to-many. So it's one server that many people can use and they split up the resources. But it's providing those applications, those files, stuff that you would have had when you were sitting in that cube available to you on the laptop. And again, a lot of people are using this even when they're in the office, but it's made working from home that much easier. So virtual desktop is similar to remote desktop, but the big difference on this is that Windows Virtual Desktop from Microsoft, it gives you the Windows 10 experience. There's other VDI or virtual desktop infrastructures out there and have been for many years, but instead of you being sharing that one server environment, you now have your individual desktop. This is used a lot for people that have specific applications. Just like on your laptop, they might vary depending on your role or your company. It varies quite a bit. The virtual desktop allows you to do that. And sometimes when you're running in a remote desktop, if you have one person that's really hogging all the resources, you're feeling it. Everyone else is feeling it. The virtual desktop allows you to have dedicated resources to you as an individual. So remote accessible desktops. Now, not every organization, we're talking work from home, not every organization in the last couple of weeks had remote desktop, had VDI, but they had desktops spread throughout their business. And they also had servers. So what this allows you to do is access these physical desktops that may sit in your cube or even are shared in kind of cube farms from your personal computer or an organizational laptop or tablet. So again, sometimes you didn't have there wasn't the time to install your applications or put everything in it. And also there's considerations as far as compliance and IP and protection. You're worried about intellectual property, traversing the intranet. So this is just one more way, remote desktop, virtual desktop, and coming into using remote desktop to go directly into a workstation that's always on, always available to you. And people might recognize on here, log me in, team viewer, those are ways to do that and to connect. If you've ever worked with your IT department or with a support company, a lot of times those are the tools that they utilize to get into your environment, but you can use that to do a one-for-one to use that machine. So we talk about soft phones. As we said earlier, people are important, right? So it's, you have all these applications, but if you can't communicate with people, that's a challenge. Well, sometimes I can't take that phone that's on my desk remotely with me, right? So that's where soft phones came in. Sure, you can utilize your cell phone, but soft phones can be run on that computer with a headset or just a mic and a speaker, and it allows you to tie into your phone system. So you can still make calls, you can still receive calls, you can transfer calls with a push of a couple of buttons. And then obviously the video cameras, the headsets, and everything that comes with it. So making that work from home experience is as close as you can. A lot of companies are instituting or already instituted daily stand-ups because you can, you're not hanging around to grab your coffee and see the people when you come in. It gives that still the collaboration. You turn on the video for 15 to 30 minutes every day, talk to your team, find out what's going on with them, and you can still do that face-to-face. And the soft phones are allowing us to do that. So all the things that I talked about have some complexity, have some risk. So what organizations have to do is they have to create policies and procedures to ensure that, one, it's clear to their team how to use these, when to use these, and what the guidelines are, to prevent data from being compromised, or really for that experience, just so people know how to do it. So many people, we've gotten, as you can imagine, tons and tons of calls because people that have never worked remotely are now doing it every day. And it's just different. When you walk into your cube or to your office, you just turn on the computer. There's a few additional steps that have to happen when you're working from home. And once you know those, it's simple, but it's that challenge. So do your employees know the rules? Do they understand what they have to do? They might have a great network at home that's used for gaming or watching TV, right? But it's not necessarily set up for them to work. And so that is one of the things that you have to think about, and you have to communicate out. And that's why, the policies and procedures are important. Then there's another big question, right? Do you work for an organization that even allows you to use your own device? Some of them are forced to do this right now because if you hadn't heard, there's a little thing going on and it's preventing the supply chain, right? You didn't have a laptop for your organization, you might not see one for 6 weeks. So organizations are saying, okay, we have to have a policy to say, yes, they can do this. And it doesn't work with all things, but when you talk VDI and you talk VPN, which is virtual private network, it's allowing you to connect. You do not want to do a virtual private network from a private device because everything that's on that computer, including the malware that you picked up when you were checking an email that said free pizza, that could go into your corporate network too. So you have to match these policies up with the technology you're using, whether it's infrastructure as a service, remote desktop, software as a service. Cell phone policy. This is something that has changed a lot. If you needed a cell phone for work, it used to be that the company issued you that cell phone, gave you so many minutes, and And that's changed a lot too. Now people are allowing the private cell phones to be used, but the same thing with laptops, the same BYOD device or the BYOD policies kind of come into play, and keeping the separation from your private data and your company data. So a lot of things to think about as business owners, leaders, that every company is going through right now with the announcement from yesterday. So I know I covered a lot of things here. And there's one more, right? Everything wrapped around this is security. We touched on it a couple of times, but you know, is your local environment secure? Is your connection secure, right? Is your neighbor using your wireless to watch TV? No, that's a little different. But there's definitely, you can no longer lean over to your cube mate and say, hey, I just got this suspicious email. What do you think? Or show your IT department. Now you have to be really aware that that's stuff coming in, and you may not have a resource, or they couldn't see it through a team or through a chat. So just be aware of that and communicate that out to your team. A great resource for that is a company called Aube. They do security awareness, and basically what they're doing is helping make sure those teams are never forgetting that there's always risks out there. There's someone that's wanting to do stuff that they really shouldn't be, and they're going to take advantage of even the fact that this is affecting the entire world. There's people out there trying to take advantage of this. So you have to be aware. And Aube is a great way to test your effectiveness, both the technology you have in place and the end user awareness. So we're in this all together. He looks sad, but you know, we can get through this. If you take the time, work with your team, work with your staff, work with your vendors to make sure you're addressing these things. The technology is there. We've come a long ways in the years from 1984 on that standalone machine that you had floppy disk. So the tools are there. Just hang in there. And I wanted to say thanks again to everyone.
And a special thanks to our friends over at the Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce. Jason, I thought you have a few points to make.
Thank you, Megan. And Ed, I would like to thank you for your expertise. Thank you very much for sharing that valuable information. The Southfield Area Chamber is rolling out and introducing some new menu services that will be available for members that are looking to join the chamber in a very near future. We have virtual business assessment services, which we are rolling out, where you would get a 1-hour session. We also have social media audits for a 30-minute session. We have digital business flyer development, which is a 1-hour session, and then we have a webinar. We are also offering webinar support and replays during this COVID-19 concern. We do have a couple follow-up upcoming events where we would love to have your attendance and learn more. Similar to what we are partnering with Red Level, we have a Making Decisions Under Pressure webinar, which will be on 3/27 at 12 p.m. Feel free to go to the Southfield Area Chamber's website and go to our events tab to read more information about that. We also have our Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce's virtual Chamber 1-on-1 event, which will be on April 10th at 11:30 a.m. Feel free, once again, as I said, to go to the Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce, which is www.southfieldchamber.com/events to learn more about our upcoming events, services, as well as joining the chamber. And once again, Ed, we are very grateful. Red Level, we're grateful for your services and partnering with us on this webinar.
All right, thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate it. And again, thank you to Ed. Now, for anybody that might have a question for us, feel free to use the Q&A tab on your screen. Also, we have Ed's contact information listed on the screen right now, so you can always follow up with us afterwards. So just taking a quick glance at some of the questions that we have received throughout the webinar. We had one that really got into some specific VPN information, which fortunately I was able to reach out to some of our consultants on. So the specific question was in how has feedback been for clients using a VPN AP, such as an Aruba RAP versus just a software-based VPN, such as SonicWall's Global VPN client? Do we have clients utilizing both? So for that specific question, I was able to reach out to a couple of our guys, and they provided me with this specific answer. Most of our clients are currently using, where'd it go? They are currently using SonicWall's Global VPN or Net Extender VPN clients. We've had to set up a few clients recently due to the coronavirus, and all have been working quite well. So that is the feedback that I have for you on that one. It looks like we had another question come in. Is there a cheat sheet that covers the main topics of this webinar that we can share within our business? So I can answer that one pretty quickly. We will be providing a quiz after the webinar that will specifically go through each of these different points that Ed talked about. And you'll be able to see exactly what you're using or answer exactly what you've been using versus what you haven't been using. And then we can follow up with you directly so that we can help to make sure that you're understanding what these different technologies mean and how they can be incorporated into your organization so that you are working from home in the most secure way possible. Another question that just came in for Ed. Do you have to have Office 365 to use Teams?
You do not have to have the full-blown Office. Microsoft just announced because of COVID that you can sign up for Teams. There's several ways to do it as an individual or an organization. If you're an individual, go to Microsoft's site and you can search for it. As the organization, I would say go to your IT, whoever's responsible for your IT or your IT partner, and they'll have more details because there's some things that have to be done on the back end of things. But you don't have to have the full suite of Microsoft Office 365 in order to run Teams.
Okay, thank you, Ed. At this point in time, I don't see any additional new questions coming in. So once again, I would like to thank Jason over at the Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce for your support, and Ed Aube, our Vice President of Business Consulting here at Red Level, and thank everybody on the line for your time today. So please feel free to ask us any additional questions and check out a few of our blogs and past posts for some additional details, and we look forward to seeing your quiz results as they come in. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.